So, with the Commando having been added back to the game in terms of a game pass, the last event tower not to have its own game pass has now got its own game pass. So every event tower has people who did not earn it for free through the events map that was provided for that game. The Commando was the last tower where it was the case that every single person who has the Commando tower got it through the Area 51 event back in 2019. And some people don't like that. Some people don't like the fact that you can buy the event tower with Robux. They think that it's exclusive for those people only and they should gatekeep it. That's their debate. I don't mind personally either way. I don't have any strong opinions. I don't really care, honestly. There was some discussion a while back, so we'll start off here with the most recent post and balancing feedback. I'm unsure if OG skins will ever happen. This is referring to event towers where people have earned the tower through a special aura. So, I'm unsure if OG skins will ever happen. So how do you feel about event towers having a special aura if you have the badge associated with them? This will allow you to use any skin with a tower while showing you originally owned it. And 3,000 people agreed with it and 200 people didn't. Now, this is not a leak. This is speculative. What this means is, if you got the Gladiator through the 2019 Gladiator event, or Sword Fights on the Heights events as it was called back then you would be able to have a special aura on your Gladiator model if you place it down. Now, the OG skins that he was referring to is with Below Natural's thing. Hold on. So, this is Below Natural, by the way. His account got terminated because, reasons. They thought it was a bot. Back in 2021, in the 31st of May 2021, he said, I don't know when, but down the line, anyone with these rewards will, anyone with these badges missing will get a reward based off their objectives. So, what he's talking about is the Gladiator badge, the Hidden badge, and the Summer 2019 badge. Now, these are badges from... These were updated recently. Hold on, why were they updated recently? Mention, can you get onto it? Why were these badges updated recently? In fact, why were all these badges updated recently? The Hidden badge has no reason to be updated recently. It was updated recently. I have no idea why. This was because back then in 2021, even then in 2021, I think the Gladiator was being resold and people were being pissy about it because the Gladiator was one of the best towers in the game. Early game towers, and people who had it wanted to gatekeep it from people who didn't have it because they wanted to feel superior to those people. I do believe that people who are trying to deny it being sold through a game pass want to believe that they're superior to everyone else because look at me, I beat the game mode previously and bragging rights and so forth. I don't really care about that too much. I don't really care about bragging. The original plan in 2021 was that anyone who with the Gladiator badge, the Area 51 badge, which was renamed the Summer 2019 badge to make it look more professional, and then with the Hidden badge would get a reward based off their objectives. I believe it's not here, and I have to. I can't go find it because his username's been deleted. Yeah, and this is just further evidence that Bologna said that they'll get suggested they'll get a Swordmaster skin for the Gladiator, but there's no confirmation of what the Commando skin would look like. In fact, I don't think there was ever any speculation what the Commando skin would look like, so we just don't know what that was going to be. Below Natural was speculating that anyone with these badges would get a special skin. I'm not sure about the Hidden badge, but definitely for the Gladiator and the Commando badge, there would be a skin provided to people who has the badge but not to those who bought it with the Game Pass. However, this was never actually implemented, and other than this and the later message about the a Swordmaster skin possibly for the Gladiator or an original skin for the Gladiator, there's been no speculation on the Gladiator nor the Commando Tower skin. Now, it was weird for the Commando Tower to be included back then because there was no Game Pass for it, except the only reason why I could think of that is because the developers were maybe thinking of adding a Game Pass for the Commando Tower into the future. So if there was a skin, like an OG skin for the Commando Tower, if the developers were to release the Game Pass, then still at least people would be able to identify, oh, look at me, I beat Area 51 back in 2019, look at me, I'm old, I'm a veteran, da-da-da. Again, still accompanied to those people with bragging rights, which again, I don't think the developers should be feeding into personally, but yeah, fair enough. Anyone with the badges should be able to get it. Now, the only problem is the badges aren't actually connected to the game. Weirdly, the Gladiator and the Command, in fact, all badges previous to the Sledge and the Toxic Gunner, sorry, they're not automatically given to you in the game. So, for example, some people have received stat wipes by accident because there was like some glitch in the past where anyone with the Gladiator Commando Tower in the past who didn't play the game in 2021 received a stat wipe for some reason, but they can't get the Gladiator or the Commando from level 0 anymore because the Gladiator and the Commando badges aren't linked to the game anymore for some reason. It's not just the Gladiator or the Commando, no, it's the Slasher, Frostblaster, Archer, and Swarmer. These towers aren't linked to the game anymore. You'll see this if you go to the experimental game, which is now privated. You don't automatically get these towers anymore. You get the Toxic Gunner, Sledger, and I think the Execution Elf Camp and Jester, but you don't get these towers because their badges aren't hooked up to the game's code anymore. And it was probably an overhaul update thing where if your data had it from after the overhaul update, you needed to log into the overhaul update, and then after the Frost Invasion update, if you didn't log in between the overhaul update and the Frost Invasion update, your save file didn't transfer over from the original 2019 build of the game, which therefore meant you lost these towers. And because their badges aren't hooked up to the game system anymore because they've been grandfathered in, you lost these towers. So actually, I don't know what, so this was actually before the Frost Invasion. No, this was after the Frost Invasion update. So after this, the Gladiator and the Commando badges weren't actually linked up to the game. So with this, they would have to actually re-add the link between the badge and the tower again, and then also reward you with the skin. I think that requires a lot of effort because these are old badges. But if there was to be an OG skin added, which is not planned yet, based on this message, because it says, I'm unsure if OG will ever happen. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. There's no plan for it at all. It seems as if that a lot of work needs to be done to actually hook up the badges to the game again. Now, how far do you want to go? Because I actually kind of support the aura idea, because that way the developers don't need to spend too much time on a special skin for the tower, where only about a handful of people will have it. The OG skin will get a lot of scrutiny on it because it's meant to be for veterans in the game, and if it's a bad skin, people won't use it, and then people like cool skins. Yes, it's the same for the golden skins back in the day. People like the golden skins, but they wanted to have the availability to use other skins. I think an aura possibility, so like, I don't know, like something similar to the golden aura for the Gladiator, when you place it down, it's like red, for example. Actually, probably not red, because that would interfere with the warrior's call ability. Maybe like yellow. No, actually, that would interfere with the golden ability. No, you need to think of your colours. You need to think of colours that are unique to the event towers that aren't being used elsewhere. So maybe orange, for example. If you were to place down and the Gladiator have an orange aura similar to the golden skin, that would easily identify that you earned it rather than you bought it, but also you would be able to use any skin, so you're not restricted on the type of skin. So for example, you'd be able to use the Slugger skin or the Pirate skin if you really wanted to, or the Galactic skin. And that way you don't need to have an OG skin here, or like like a classic skin, to show that, okay, you actually earned it rather than you bought it. And I think that's a quicker way to identify, oh wait, you're an OG or you're a veteran, compared to having a classic skin. Same for the Commando, because it only has 3 skins. I think it would be a lot of effort to make a skin unique to it for people who were veterans and got it naturally. And there is really no limit to how it applies to event towers. I think it could be applied to all event towers in the future. I think it would be a good idea to have a event aura which shows that you earned it naturally, aka you earned it rather than you bought it. And it doesn't need to be limited to the Gladiator or the Commando. I think it could be implemented to all event towers, and it's little efforts because the code's already in the game through the golden aura. So the Slasher, Frostblaster, Archer, Swarmer, Toxic Gunner, and I think that would reduce the criticism or the backlash that the developers get for selling the game passes of these event towers into the future, because people who earned it feel like they're being mugged off because you don't need to earn it now, you can just buy it down in the future. It would also satisfy those people who are buying the game pass now, because you're only missing out on an aura, and the aura is only telling you, okay, look, you're a veteran, or you earned it through legitimate, buying it still legitimate means you earned it through playing the map or playing the game. You didn't buy it, therefore you knew how to beat the game back then, or well, you knew how to beat the game now if it's in the case of the Harvester or Hallowpunk. Please respect, I don't know, people will probably say please respect me, look, I beat it, but then you can also disable it. I assume you'd be able to disable it. Hopefully you'd be able to disable it like the golden perk. But I think that's actually a kind of good idea, because I think it will satisfy the old player base, but it will also not piss off the new player base, and it will allow developers to sell the tower game passes. Again, this is speculative. In fact, I'm just adding my own ideas to it. It could be applied to all towers. The only problem is, are there enough unique colors for each individual tower? I assume this is going to be a unique color for each individual tower. It doesn't have to be. It could all just be like an event color, like, I don't know, purple. But yeah, I don't know. So it doesn't seem like OG skins are going to come anytime soon. So any Swordmaster Gladiator skin, not coming. If you bought the game pass and then beat it naturally afterwards, I mean, first off, you're stupid for buying the Game Pass. The developers would just check your inventory and say, oh, look, yeah, you have the badge, yeah, here's your aura. I think something similar was meant to happen to the Executioner, right? So, I never knew that. So, originally, the Eclipse skin was meant to be added as a skin for those who earned the Executioner through the badge, the Solar Eclipse badge. However, the Game Pass was on sale at the time, and people worried that if they bought the Game Pass, they wouldn't get the skin. Originally, that was the case for a day, but then afterwards, they caved in and were like, yeah, okay, everyone gets the skin. So it was added in February, so people who bought the Game Pass were spewing their anger towards the fact that they wouldn't be able to get the skin, so eventually everyone was able to get the skin. But for some reason, in 2023, the developers decided, okay, anyone who buys it after 2023 is unable to get the Eclipse skin. So technically speaking, this is an OG skin for the Executioner. However, if you bought it through a Game Pass in November 2022, you still got the skin. But if you buy it in the sale in Black Friday 2023 onwards, you're unable to get the skin. So for, technically speaking, in 2022 and 2021, you were able to get the Eclipse skin, but after that in 2023, you weren't. So technically, this is an OG skin, but you can still buy the Executioner and get it. So technically, most people consider that not an OG skin because an OG skin would be only for those who earned it naturally, not bought it. But again, that's just semantics. But yeah, technically speaking, we do have an OG skin. It's just not to the towers that was speculated for. But this is a very rare case, and I don't think it will happen again. OG rewards has been retroactively applied in the past, so it's not like there's been unprecedented history. I mean, I've already talked about the Eclipse Executioner skin. There's also the glitchy name tag for the hidden badge. The hidden badge, at the time of release, it didn't have any rewards, and in fact, it still doesn't have any. It didn't have any rewards up until its removal. However, with the Legacy Hidden Wave, those who beat it were able to get their glitchy name tag after in 2021, I believe. No, 2023. I'm off. Anyone who triumphed the Hidden Wave Legacy thing and the badge, you received the glitchy name tag, and in fact, even though the badge is no longer available, it's still encoded into the game. Where if the game detects you have the badge, but not the glitchy name tag, then it'll appear in your gift claim. However, this doesn't apply to those who beat the current Hidden Wave, and it will never apply to those who beat the current Hidden Wave. You're not able to get the glitchy name tag, and this is only the second example of an OG reward. There is some precedence for it, and of the 3 examples mentioned before, the Hidden Badge did get it, but the Gladiator and Commando didn't, and we shouldn't expect anything for now until the developers release it or tease it one day. It's not planned to, so don't get your hopes up if you earned it through these events. I mean, I don't know. You're not suffering. I don't know if people are actually quote suffering because new people are getting it through a Game Pass. Then sort your life out.